Just when you think that the new set is all about flexible play and RNG chosens, here comes a guy in your lobby that always pulls that 3-star Z with perfect items, and when you face him early game, you get trolled like this. So if you guys wanna know how to strategically turn an early lose streak into a first place, stick around. Hey guys, and welcome to another TFT video. Today we're gonna be taking a look at the open fort strategy. Now, we all have heard of high elo players giving up the early game and investing on economy in order to get the lead on slow rolling, better odds for chosens and carousel priority, but how exactly do they do that? So before we start, a fast table of contents, so maybe some more advanced players can skip to the point that they need. We'll talk about white open fort, which build should we go for, the step-by-step open fort guide, and general tips and tricks that can give you the lead over the rest of the lobby hard-forcing slow roll builds. Make sure you use this guide and I promise you, you will be served some free LP. So first, we are gonna go over white open fort. I mean, why would anyone wanna abandon his early game in order to win the lobby? How is that even possible? Well, patch 10.20 introduced a nerf to 4-cost champions showing on level 8 in order to tone down the amount of 3-star 4-cost in the late game. This change turned the meta into a slow roll fest, with 8 builds relying on 1 to 3 cost chosens to win the game. These builds are totally viable to top 4 and all of them can first place when fully deployed. While normal builds such as Ahri Vanguard Mystic, Dusks and Tellerwood Ash don't rely on competition, the slow roll builds make good use of each other, and I will go with an example. If 2 players slow roll on level 5, one for Yasu's and one for Diana's, both players will get their 3-star much quicker than solo rolling. On the other hand, while normal builds can support multiple players, slow rolls can support only one if you count the competition and the bench holders. And this leads me into reason number 2 on why you should open fort as a slow roller. With the whole lobby, or most of it, going for slow roll variation, the one that takes the lead and starts slow rolling before the others will probably win his 3-star first. Reason number 3 is the chosen mechanic. Chosen, just like all champions, come from a limited pool of heroes. Most Slowroll Comps rely on a specific chosen to be a steer, so whoever starts slow rolling first has the advantage of getting his chosen and bully the rest of the lobby into pivoting. At this point, I wanna refer to an early open fort variation in order to force a higher tier chosen, but since that's not forceable every time, we'll discuss it in the tips and tricks section. Lastly, open fort ensures that you will get your desired item from first carousel, and assuming you got one from the starting carousel, you will have one optimal item ready even before cracks. Now, which build should we force? Duelists. For Duelists, you start with sword, and on first carousel you want to complete a guardian angel. The slow roll target here is Yasuo chosen 3-star on level 5 with GA, QSS and Hand of Justice or IE. Then you want to level to 7 and slow roll for Jax, Kalista or Xin Zhao, or just power level to 8 and roll to hit the legendaries Yone and Lee Sin. Bonkey Kong. For Wukong carry, you wanna start with double bows on first carousel. Our target here is Wukong 3 chosen with Guinsoo, Rapid Fire and either Bloodthirst, IE or Deathblade. If you're close to Jaina and Thresh or Garen 3-star, you keep slow roll, or you can power level once you hit 3-star Wukong and get 4 Vanguards for Mystic Online. Spirit Z. This is a classic open fort candidate since his itemization requires 3 bows to be effective, and the chosen Z 3-star is easily an S triple plus build which can turn even 1 HP games into a first place. Z's optimal items are Guinsoo, Rapid Fire and QSS, and the only requirement is him as 3-star chosen. Just pair him with other Sage and add 4 spirits and you're set. Reroll Mages. For mages, you wanna start with Vest, and you want a chosen mage with the best being Annie. Don't get me wrong, you can start with blue buff, but in my opinion, Annie is the MVP in this build, and her best items are QSS, Bramble and Dragon's Claw. You just slow roll on level 5 for any 3-star mage, with Annie having the priority. Then, once you hit your chosen, you can decide your damage carry on whoever you 3-starred, or go level 7 and get your Ahri to carry the damage. Moonlight Diana. Okay, in patch 10.20b, Aphelios was nerfed to the ground. He isn't the 4-star auto win anymore, and personally I prefer the Moonlight Diana counterpart. You want to start with a vest and get her a Bramble vest first. You slow roll for a Moonlight chosen, preferably Diana, but Lysandra can do as well. You stay on level 5 slow rolling until you hit Lysandra 3 and Diana 4 with 4 assassins to carry the mid game. Once you hit Diana 4, you power level to add 6 assassins and random champions according to the lobby. Diana's best items are Bramble, Diclo and Hextech. There are a couple more builds that risen after the 4 cost probability nerf. They revolve around Veigar and Ziggs 3-star Chosens, but they work either without Open Fort and Slow Roll on level 7 to 8, or they require the Open Fort trick that we mentioned in the introduction, so we'll explain them a bit in the tips and tricks section. Stick with me. So we know what we wanna force. Now, how exactly can we do it? Firstly, we want to aim for 10 gold before 2-1. I know it sounds impossible, right? Well, there are some 1 cost 1 stars that can effectively solo the first neutral rounds. So, Tamkens can solo all 3 neutral stages as 1 star. Yasuo can also with a belt and in the front and middle tile, and Garen with a belt as well and put in the far left front tile. Other 1 stars can solo the first 2 stages, for example Elise, Diana but she must jump to the caster on stage 1-3, Lysandra put on first row second right tile, and Wukong first row second or third right tile. Credits to the awesome community of our competitive subreddit, go check them out in the description below. So if you manage this trick, you should be at 10 plus gold on 2-1. 20 gold on 2-3, get the item that you want from the carousel, sell the champion unless it's one of the carries mentioned before, and you should be at 30 gold now. 40 gold on stage 2-6 and 50 plus gold on Krugs. There are 2 things I want to stress out at this point. 1. At any time during the open fort you are given any of the desired Chosens, you instant buy them and just 1 man lose streak. You can buy copies, but be careful of another open forter since he will probably ruin your lose streak. 2. And that's super important, at 2-7 you need to buy a team that can beat Krugs. If you already got your Chosen, that will be easy, just put some synergies with him and you're done. But if you didn't get the Chosen, you will have to measure your shop and decide whether you go with the options you got, or level to 5 and add another champion in, or all once to get a stronger level 4 board. Past Krugs, you should have 60 gold minimum and start slow roll before the others by a lot. Spend the excess gold until 50 in order to acquire your 3 stars. Once you hit them, proceed as explained in the builds section. Tips and tricks. Get to 10 gold before the first PvP round, that's mandatory. If you cannot get to 10 gold at stage 2-1, this strategy won't work. You won't be able to hoard gold fast enough to start slow rolling right after Krugs and before everyone else. Tip number 2. Abuse the Chosen fail-safe mechanic. That's a trick I learned from a guy named Frappe. He found it while watching a top TFT streamer. So what's that about? With the introduction of Chosens, Mordog informed us in one of his streams that there is a fail-safe mechanic. Let's call it bad luck protection, where you have to get at least 3 Chosen units in the shop throughout stage 2. So, you can log your first shop that doesn't have a Chosen and keep logging until stage 2-3 before carousel. You pre-level 8 out of 10 so that you are level 5 right after carousel. For the next 3 stages and until Krugs, you will be served with 1 Chosen in every shop that will have 30% chance to be 3-star, 50% to be 2-star and 20% to be 1-star. I don't know if that's intended or it's a bug, but use it with caution. With great power comes great responsibility. Tip number 3. Don't panic if you go low. I know that many of us are used on staying over 80 health during stage 2. Getting below can mean a doomed game, but this isn't the case in set 4. In Galaxies, a bad early game would most likely lead into a bleeding mid-game and probably to defeat. But in set 4, mid-game is where most of the builds stabilize using the power of Chosens. In most of my games, mid-game is where very little damage is taken, and when we get to late game, we see people going down on a single stage altogether just because late game is where most of the builds get their huge power spikes and start winning by a lot. So don't panic if you go low. I have seen slow rolls come up to first place from 1 HP. Another tip is never to bother when someone says, for example, me Zed, no pivot, no scout. This doesn't work anymore. And these guys are usually the first to pivot into another build. Don't let them get into your head. And last tip for today, make sure you bully your lobby out of your comp. I know I said don't let them get into your head, but it's a mind game after all. So once you commit into a slow roll comp, let the lobby know you're going for this specific chosen, ping your chosen, bully your competitor with every copy you get. No one wants to hold hands for long and the strongest mind will win. Are you a with great risk come great reward type of guy? Share your experience and knowledge with us in the comment section below, helping others excel in this strategy. As always, your insight is what makes me and my audience better. If you like this video, take a second to subscribe, like and hit the notification bell, and I will see you all in the next one.